Dick Van Dyke, the beloved entertainer whose career has spanned over 7 decades and delighted generations with his impeccable comic timing, singing, dancing, and heartfelt performances, recently opened up about one of the most intriguing what-if moments in Hollywood history. The iconic actor revealed that he was seriously considered, and directly offered, the role of the world's most famous secret agent, James Bond, but turned it down for a reason that was as honest as it was hilarious: his infamous struggle with a British accent. In a charming and candid television appearance, Van Dyke recounted the story with his trademark humor and humility. The offer came straight from one of the most powerful figures in film production, the man responsible for bringing Ian Fleming's suave spy to the big screen. Having previously collaborated on a whimsical family adventure film that featured magical cars and catchy tunes, the producer saw potential in Van Dyke to step into the tuxedo and take on the mantle after the original Bond actor stepped away. The proposal was flattering, to say the least. Van Dyke, known for his all-American charm and versatile talents, was pitched as the next 007, a character defined by sophistication, danger, and a distinctly British flair. But the actor knew himself too well. Recalling the moment, he laughed about immediately pointing out his Achilles heel, that notoriously wobbly attempt at sounding English, which had become a legendary part of one of his most famous roles. In a classic musical where he portrayed a cheerful chimney sweep, his Cockney accent was so endearingly off that it became a talking point for years, often imitated and affectionately mocked. Van Dyke's quick-witted response to the offer was spot on. He essentially asked if the producer had ever heard him try to pull off a British dialect. It was a moment of self-awareness that spared everyone involved from what could have been a mismatched casting. While he admitted it would have been an incredible adventure to play such an iconic character, filled with high-stakes action, exotic locations, and gadgetry galore, he couldn't see audiences buying into it. Fans who adored him as the benevolent banker-turned-nanny's companion or the inventor of a flying automobile might have struggled to accept him sipping martinis, shaken, not stirred, with deadly seriousness. Looking back on his decision, Van Dyke harbors no bitterness or second thoughts. He views it as one of those fascinating crossroads in life, a sliding doors scenario where one choice leads to an entirely different path. His career, already brimming with triumphs, didn't need the Bond franchise to cement his legacy. Instead, he continued to excel in roles that played to his strengths: light-hearted comedies, musicals that showcased his extraordinary physical comedy and dance skills, and later, dramatic turns that proved his depth as an actor. Born in the mid-1920s, Van Dyke's entry into entertainment began in radio and television, where his natural charisma quickly made him a star. His breakthrough came with a Broadway musical that highlighted his singing and dancing prowess, leading to film opportunities that immortalized him. The Magical Nanny film, in particular, remains a timeless classic, blending live action with animation in innovative ways and featuring songs that are still hummed today. His performance, complete with that memorable, if accent-challenged, character, earned him enduring love from children and adults alike. The collaboration that led to the Bond offer was another high point, adapting a children's book by the very author who created James Bond himself. The film was a delightful escapade filled with adventure, villains, and invention, perfectly suiting Van Dyke's energetic style. It was during this successful partnership that the producer floated the idea of Van Dyke as Bond, perhaps envisioning a lighter, more humorous take on the spy, or simply believing in the actor's versatility. The James Bond series, launched in the early 1960s, revolutionized action cinema with its blend of style, suspense, and sex appeal. The original portrayal set a high bar, mixing ruggedness with refinement, and subsequent actors brought their own flavors. Van Dyke stepping in would have been a bold, unconventional choice, potentially shifting the franchise toward comedy or charm over grit. But the actor's honesty prevailed, and the role went elsewhere, allowing the series to evolve in its established direction. Van Dyke's career continued to flourish. He starred in a long-running sitcom as a comedy writer, surrounded by a talented ensemble, creating episodes that are still syndicated and cherished. Later in life, he took on mystery-solving roles in diagnostic dramas, proving he could handle more serious material with ease. Even approaching his 100th birthday, he remains active, appearing in films, advocating for causes, and sharing stories that entertain and inspire. This revelation about Bond adds to the rich tapestry of Hollywood anecdotes, reminding us how casting decisions shape not just films but entire careers. Van Dyke's choice reflects a deep understanding of his own brand, the joyful, optimistic performer who brings laughter and warmth rather than brooding intensity.